Good afternoon. Welcome to Mike and the Hoss on Wolfeboro Community Television. I'm Mike Danais.
And I'm Charlie Hossack.
Let's thank our sponsors, Downtown Grill and Cafe.
Yep, Skelly's Market.
And Morrissey's Porch and Pub. Thank you.
Thanks, sponsors.
Let's get right into it, Coach. There was a school board meeting last night, a relatively big one, talking about school.
Right.
And the good news was that sports wasn't canceled.
No, the other part of that is sports they weren't discussed just a little bit. Just they said that they have a plan that's that they're going to look at, and they're hoping that they'll make some decisions on sports once, of course, they decide what's going to happen with school, back to school.
But the good news, and we've said this for a while, if your sport's not canceled, then that is good.
Absolutely, it is good. It is.
So every
Let's
meeting
focus on good.
Every meeting that goes by, every tweet that you see, if your sport is not canceled, then things are good. So I just before I came in, I spent a few minutes with Mr. House without getting into too many specifics.
Yep.
I can tell you that the athletic department is doing absolutely everything that they possibly can to get some sort of a season in.
That's great.
NHIA set a start date of September 8th, which is about a month later than usual.
Right.
I know Mr. House has a bunch of options on the table that he is putting forth. They have a 70-page manual guide, document that they're giving to the school board about procedures that they would undertake.
Sure. How to safely return to sport, the fields.
And he's optimistic. He's optimistic, and I thought it was just good news. We saw last night in the meeting, theater came up, and at first it was I don't think theater is going to happen, but then
they're like, wait a minute.
NHIA came out with not NHIA, but the state came out with guidelines that theater can happen, and I think that if the guidelines are doable, then I think everything can happen.
Absolutely. And if you look at band and chorus, and maybe they can't happen inside, but maybe they can happen outside. And I think one of the things that's really important is that how extracurricular activities are really important for students. Whether it's theater or band or chorus or robotics or athletics. There
are many kids, ours probably included, that when they go to school, they're not going to school for their particular class. They're going to school because they have practice after school.
Right.
And they want to, they do well in school, and we applaud them for that stuff. But
of course.
The motivation to want to go to school is so they can go to the game after school, go to the practice, go to the theater practice, get ready for the show, get ready for the concert.
Right.
That's what a large part of the population in any school district, that's the reason why they go.
Yeah, and the reason why they have these activities is because that's where learning also still happens. I mean, learning's going to happen in the math classroom, but the kids are also going to learn valuable lessons through these activities.
We have seen some schools cancel their sports season, but what I just found out from Mr. House is that those that have canceled early are now rethinking it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Public outcry, and as you would expect.
Yeah, of course.
If your child's in the senior season, you're probably going to complain about that a little bit. And, and so there's been a little bit of a push that why are we canceling so early? Let's rethink this. Let's wait. And I'm of the camp that everything should. If you have to cancel, it should be done at the last possible minute.
Right. After you've exhausted every single option. And we talked about this on the show before. When we started playing baseball this summer with our kids, the guidelines, it looked like there's so many guidelines, it was like a book of guidelines. And we were like, hey, do we really want to do this? It's going to be more work than it's worth. The kids are not going to like this. We as coaches aren't going to like it. And we had that conversation, and we weren't sure whether we wanted to continue with it. And I'm glad we did.
We're going to end up with about 30 baseball games this summer.
Yeah.
Recently played a hockey tournament. There was guidelines, masks and so on. Kids were getting dressed in parking lots.
Yeah.
It's not how it usually is.
Right.
But when they're on the ice or in between the lines, it is how it usually is.
It is.
There is no difference between the baseball games that we're playing right now compared to the baseball games that we played last year.
I agree.
Same thing with the hockey. There was no difference in that hockey game once the game started. Yes, the fans all had masks on. Yes, mound visits are a little bit different than they used to be, or in the dugouts, depending on the facility that we're in.
Sure.
But when the game is being played, it's just the same thing.
Right.
And I think we would see that in all the other sports. Now, if there's an outbreak and people start getting sick, then we have to deal with that, obviously, and that's going to change things. But knock on wood, we've gone through the summer, and we haven't missed a game.
Right.
It's been good. It's been healthy. It's been made the summer that much better.
Right. And I think it's I think I mentioned this last week. I think it's really important for high schools to be able to offer sports so that the high school, the district, can control that sport. Because the minute the district cancels sports, those kids then go off to AAU teams, and they're going to play. They're going to find places to play, and maybe the regulations aren't going to be as strict, or they're not going to be, taking temperatures before games. So I think having all of that done at the high school level and controlling and keeping people safe, that's where it needs to happen.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. The more mandate that they can do with this, then the better. The more guidelines that they have.
Right.
And accountability. The more accountability.
Yeah,
and we know the district is going to, we haven't been able to get on their field for our baseball team because, and I understand it. I'm not faulting the district. It's a liability issue, and they want to make sure that
everybody's safe.
Everybody's safe, and anything that they do, they can control the safety. They've let Kingswood groups go on the field because they can control that safety.
Right.
They haven't let our AAU teams or our senior Babe Ruth teams go on because that wouldn't control the safety. And I understand that. So
totally agree.
I think that's a good point. That you're right. If things don't happen for the high school, Seacoast United Soccer has already come up here and they're grabbing kids.
Sure.
And they're not going to be as strict as the school would be.
And they're going to take these multiple, fall baseball leagues. They'll just expand.
Right.
They'll go from weekends to weekdays.
Yep. All right. So I got to turn my phone off because it just done. Just run.
Ding-a-ling-ling. Very popular. Mike, as you guys all know, Mike is very popular. Phone is going off all the time.
Silent mode on.
Doesn't happen to be Brian Davidson, does it? Was he maybe sending us a tweet?
No, he was not. But he did ask what we were talking about today.
That's good.
And the first thing that as far as the major shows, we're going to talk about the train wreck of Major League Baseball.
Yes, we do have a train wreck. Yeah.
It is wow.
Yeah.
It's a failure. They've been going on for a week.
Yeah.
Not even a week. Week?
Yeah, it's been a week. Yeah.
Has it been a week?
Been a week.
Okay.
The Red Sox have lost enough games for it to be a week.
Well, we'll get to the Red Sox. That's just a train wreck on top of a train wreck. But just Major League Baseball in general, they have the sport that's played outside.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have fans. They
do have cardboard cutouts, though.
They do have cardboard cutouts. They had probably the most time to put something in place because their season never started in the first place.
Yeah.
They're just trying to deal with regular season. And for those that don't know, the Florida Marlins, somewhere around 13 players, personnel. St. Louis Cardinals, somewhere around 8 or 9. There was another team. The
other teams for precaution, like the Mets couldn't play.
But I thought there was one other team that got dinged a few. Anyway, baseball's lost 28 games so far.
Yeah.
In a week. A week they've lost 28 games.
Yeah.
What doesn't baseball have that all the other teams have, or a couple of the other sports have?
They don't have a bubble.
They don't have a bubble.
Yeah, they're bubbleless.
It's starting to really. The baseball season. I'm not saying that they should cancel because it has been nice to turn on a baseball game.
I agree.
But they're playing 7-inning doubleheaders now.
Mm-hmm.
They're canceling it. How are they going to make up these games?
Well, it's going to be challenging.
And
how about this? The other thing that really frustrated me, and I was looking forward to it, was Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams has been canceled. So, Field of Dreams, they built I know you know, but they built the Major League Stadium next to the original Field of Dreams field out in Iowa, and that was going to be special. You got the cornfield, and it was the shoeless Joe Jackson and all that stuff, Chicago White Sox, and that has been canceled. So, it was just something I was looking forward to.
I just don't think baseball did a very good job. Mm-hmm. They could have. I mean, I know that the players gave management a very difficult time during this about compensation. I don't think that they got. Unfortunately, I don't think that what they gave them a difficult time was about safety.
Right.
They gave it about compensation and how the playoffs were going to work and so on.
Yeah.
Where the focus probably should have been more about safety.
Yeah. I agree, and it's so interesting. You watch the games and you see the safety, and they've got their masks on and mound visits, and people are hand sanitizing and all that. And then I kind of laugh because the starting pitcher is going to go to like Chili's after the game, and then it's going to head home to a family barbecue of 100 people or something. So there's you can keep people safe for the time that they're between the lines or in the dugout, but other than that, they're just off in all sorts of different directions.
And many baseball players are showing a lot of irresponsibility.
Yes.
After they leave. We're talking strip bars, casinos,
Yeah.
restaurants, bars,
Yeah.
big, large family gatherings.
Yeah. Just
And,
places you should not be going, and events you should not be attending or hosting.
It's a mess. So the Florida Marlins were all quarantining. All the sick guys were all quarantining in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And they had to get them back to Florida. And so they rented 2 sleeper buses.
Okay.
I don't understand why they won't just charter a plane and fly them back, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
seemed to make more sense. But
Yeah.
no, sleeper buses. I got a question for you.
Yes.
So this bus is full of these sickies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
all sick
Yeah.
and
It's
coughing.
the COVID Express.
The COVID Express.
Yeah.
Who drives the bus?
The manager. I don't know.
Seriously, who's going to sign up to drive that bus?
I know. It's crazy.
I'll
You'd have to be
volunteer.
like.
I'll drive.
You'd have to be. It's like that. Remember the movie Outbreak? You'd have to have like the full suit on, driving
Seriously,
the bus.
driving, and
Yeah.
Florida's not like it's the next state.
Yeah.
They're going down to Miami.
Oh man.
Well-
I mean, I'm sure like if they were going to say we're going to compensate you this, I'm sure there was a volunteer, but still, I wouldn't. I get it.
I just didn't. There's a lot of things with baseball I'm just not
Yeah.
getting. Why not charter a plane?
Why not just get a?
You got
why not
the
rent
money.
Why not rent a 15-passenger van and then the players can rotate who drives? They can drive themselves.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think. Do you think baseball finishes?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, I think we'd be lucky to get through another week.
Okay, that's good news for one team. Your Boston Red Sox.
Yes.
I call them a train wreck atop of a dumpster fire. That's
Oh.
one of my little notes here.
I like that.
They have the worst pitching in the league.
Yes.
They run the bases about as bad as anybody in the league.
Yeah.
They can't hit right now.
No.
Otherwise than that, they look really good.
Yeah. And probably, other than Evaldi, their, other best pitcher is out for the season.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Erod, but
I mean, that's not surprising. I don't want to.
well, it's not surprising, but I mean,
him. I mean, he
Yeah.
misses when he got a toenail itch. It's just.
Yeah.
And I know he's sick, and I'm not discounting that.
Yeah.
But when he came down with it, I just didn't think that there was any chance that he was going to be participating in the season.
Mm-mm.
I really didn't.
No.
It was just not based on COVID, just based on the track record that
yeah, of
doesn't
course.
seem to persevere through a lot of things.
Right.
They have nothing going for them.
They
Bring up the minor leagues.
Yeah.
They're not playing. Bring up all the
I
young
think
kids.
I think they have brought up the minor leagues as their pitching staff.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
what is the general manager Bloom? What is he going to do? Like this was expected. I mean we of course are, as you would always say, homers, and we want the Red Sox to do well, and we're going to cheer
Not
for
for
them.
long.
No, but I'm saying like we were like 60-game season, they might have a shot. That's what we were saying before it started. So now I guess we should have expected this. I actually thought they would be a little more competitive in the sense that they would have enough offense to, maybe lose 14-11 or something like that.
So, J.D. Martinez, after the first night, said this lineup is going to be scary this year.
Yeah, that's after the first win. Yeah,
They have collectively, now maybe they did because they scored 7 runs.
the
against
lineup
the Yankees
is
in the last
scary,
game.
so it is scary.
But I don't know if they've collectively scored 13 runs since that first night.
Yeah.
Devers is batting under 200. Bogarts is
Well,
hitting
look,
okay.
Devers and Bogarts had a good night the other night against the Yankees. But
but-
Devers is out of shape, and and for a player that is so good to have not taken care of himself, and then reports to camp, really out of shape, and he had a terrible camp. I mean, it was error after error after error. So it's going to take him a little while to really get going.
Well, the season's going to be over. I mean,
Yeah.
even if they keep going, I just have this weird feeling that this season's at the end. It's going to be playoffs are going to be about attrition and who's still playing.
Who doesn't have COVID?
And in
Yeah.
that respect, maybe they have a shot. Maybe they just quarantine themselves. And all the other teams they bow out.
22 other teams can no longer play.
Yeah, well, it's just that's pretty much their
Maybe
only shot.
that's you should send that message. What the Red Sox need to do: create the Red Sox bubble, and they will become world champions.
They could.
Yeah,
They could.
That's a good plan.
The season of attrition.
Yeah.
All right, so that's enough of the Red Sox.
Okay.
The NBA, God, it's besides. My son said this looks like an AAU tournament. Watching on TV.
Yeah, I know.
It does. It's
does.
Just the vibe of it. Is, but it's basketball. It's pretty good basketball too.
It is, of course.
And that's why what's cool about basketball is that those guys play all year round. They as soon as the season's over, they're playing pickup games in the gym. You see it all the time.
Sure, you see it all the time.
And basketball's basketball.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. I mean, sometimes they play defense more than others, and I don't think they've started to play defense yet.
Yeah.
I don't think any team has started to play defense yet based on the scores.
No.
If
they won't play defense till the playoffs.
If you don't score 130, you don't win the game.
Right.
So it's kind of like an all-star
It's like an all-star game.
But it's basketball, and I think back to May when we were kind of razzing the NBA a little bit about the bubble and why are they starting so late and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So far they've got it right.
Yeah, it's working for them.
Yeah, and
they're doing a good job.
Celtics, they lost to Milwaukee.
Yeah,
you could see that, but it was a good game.
Yep.
The Portland game they won the other night.
They almost didn't.
I know, but they were up by like 25 at one point.
Well, that's what frustrates me when you're up by that much. You need to stay up.
Yeah, I just think that was, kind of took your foot off the gas a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they're good. They're moving the ball around, and with the Celtics and Brad Stevens and his whole system, if they move the ball around, they're going to be fine. Hayward looks good. Tatum had a good game. The first game was terrible. Second game was good. A haircut. That's better. Jaylen Brown's been playing pretty well. Kemba Walker's been playing pretty well. Marcus Smart has had, he's put some points. He's still shooting way too much.
I know. I mean, you say the AAU. There's always that one kid on the AAU team that gets the ball and just throws up the three,
just chucking it from everywhere.
So he needs to, like, as I would say, simmer down, settle down, and pass the ball. Your job is to rebound and play defense.
And that's he's so much value that way. Yes. There's 5 guys on the court. There's him. There's Walker. There's Hayward. There's Tatum. Yeah. There's Brown. Yet he's taking the most shots.
I know.
It's just delusional that he thinks he can make all these shots.
Right, and he hasn't been.
I mean, he'll does like once every 7 or 8 games, he'll put up 25 points.
Yeah.
Make a bunch, but that's not enough to justify shooting like that.
Not at all. And he's not down there when he's doing that. He's not down there to get the offensive rebounds.
No, But I don't know. I guess that's what he's supposed to do. Stevens isn't pulling back.
I guess. What do you think? How far do the Celtics get in the playoffs? Through the first round or beyond?
Depends who they draw. There's a good chance they're going to get Philadelphia, and they just don't match up well this year against Philadelphia.
Right.
I think Embiid. I don't know how Philadelphia's been doing so far in their 2 games so far.
I don't know.
But if Embiid is motivated, they're in trouble. But there's a good chance that he's not motivated.
It's true.
I had a question, and I couldn't find this. Disney has a whole bunch of golf courses, and they're at a Disney resort.
Right.
Are they allowed to play golf?
I guess they're allowed to play golf if it's in the bubble. If they put that resort if it has one of the golf courses.
I haven't seen anything of.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Cool, kind of a cool vacation.
That's the bubble I want to get into, the NBA bubble.
No kidding. Do you think? We say that Governor Wentworth will do everything down in Disney at a resort down in Disney.
I think amazing. We should do
we
that.
We volunteer to be in the bubble down there.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, NHL as the league, same as the NBA. They got things going up there in Canada. Looking good. Games are solid. Again, hockey is similar to basketball. Guys play hockey.
They're always playing. Yeah.
They're always playing, whether it be men's league and so on. And so it looks good. Our Bruins played 1 game. They lost 4-1.
Yeah.
Tuukka Rask, which I found interesting, and I wonder if this is going to make it to the schools. That they have an app. All the players have an app on their phone. And they wake up in the morning, they got to take their temperature, and then it runs down a list of symptoms. And so Tuukka had a cough on the day that they were supposed to play.
Okay.
And so he clicked on cough, and he says all kinds of red lights started happening. That don't go talk to anybody, don't see anybody.
Wow.
And people started calling him, and he wasn't allowed to play until he had 2 tests that came back. Just clicking the cough.
Wow. Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
safety first. I mean, I'm not gonna. I guess I'm disappointed, but at the same time, not disappointed because he's keeping everyone safe. No.
It is. I'm not faulting anything
no.
on this. I just found it interesting.
Yeah, that is.
That's how they're doing it, and I'm assuming that something like that's probably going to get into the public's hands.
I would think so.
That, before you come to school, you've got to go through a checklist,
yeah.
and I think the phones can take temperatures now. I'm not positive, but
They probably can.
even if they couldn't, you have your temperature and you put down what your temperature is. You go through the symptoms. If you click one, you're done. You don't go to school.
Interesting.
At the
Technology.
school board meeting last night, their superintendent,
Yes.
she had the mask. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
know
she
that.
talked about the mask that could tell if you have COVID.
Or if COVID's coming through the mask.
Yes, I think it goes both ways.
It
right?
goes both ways?
That's what I thought. That's what I interpreted from it.
Okay.
She also mentioned what I thought was cool was cameras that can sense your temperature, which we know exist, as you're coming into school.
Yeah, South Korea was using those at any of their big train stations and any kind of
Yeah.
public gatherings. They had these infrared cameras that would sense if anybody was above. They set the norm at 100 degrees or whatever
Yeah.
it was, and anybody was above that, they were highlighted.
Yeah.
And they went and grabbed them and got them out of the crowd.
Medical police came running out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So, all right, NFL.
oh, sorry for that. Oh.
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
legit. So far we don't have a bubble, and it's CMLB. So I
Yeah.
think that's going to be strike one against them. That's going to hurt them. A 3-week preseason, I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Belichick's really on board with that. He's like, yeah, that's what college does. We're fine.
Yeah.
Will there be enough Patriots to play games?
I don't know. I mean, I think the Pats that are opting out, minus like Hightower and Chung, I mean, yeah, I think we can survive without Matt Lacoste.
Okay, the McCourty twins are
They're
on the bubble.
They're on the bubble.
Yeah,
they're not in a bubble, but they're on the bubble. I get it. So, but what about? Let's look at the other NFL teams. They're losing players as well. So.
Not at the rate the Patriots are losing.
No, I get that.
I don't think any other team has lost more than 2, and most are.
I think
most are at 0.
you had said this. I mean, part of the reason is, like with the McCourtys or Chung or Hightower, is look at all the rings they have.
Yep.
Is there an incentive?
They've won, and they are in their second or third contract, so they have some money set aside.
They do. They do.
And I get that part. I'm also going to. The Patriots are known for going after the quote unquote intelligent players.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that something about it? That these guys are aware of the research, they're knowledgeable about the research, they're doing their own research, they're looking at their families and how realistic that this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're saying, I'm done.
I'm done.
I
Want to be
can't
safe?
do
It's
this.
not worth it. No. I get that. We're not coughing on air, are we?
Well, I just did, but
my
I'm,
goodness.
it's
We're gonna get Timothy in here with a thermometer. All right.
allergies. I hope.
I hope so too.
So I think I don't think the NFL is going to happen. I just don't.
I agree.
I think that the bubble is everything, and we keep talking about this bubble, but the success that the NBA and the NHL are having compared to what the MLB is having, and NFL is following the MLB plan.
Yeah, which is crazy, because I mean, especially now the NFL should probably be saying, okay, we need to create a bubble because it's not working for the MLB. MLB is probably going to get canceled, and look how it's working for the NBA and the NHL.
Okay, so why couldn't each team create their own bubble, right? And let's use the Patriots for example. They have the Renaissance Inn right there on
right at
the
Gillette
facility.
Yeah.
So they shut down all of Gillette, Patriots Place, or whatever.
Yeah.
And each team has their own bubble. The Patriots have two planes.
Yep.
They fly into Buffalo on Sunday morning. They get out of the plane. They go to the locker room. Everything's completely isolated. They're only dealing with their people.
Yeah.
They go play the game. They come out. Now since their players are in a bubble, then you're comfortable within your players.
Sure.
You go take a shower. You get back on the plane. You don't go to a hotel.
No.
And then you come back into your bubble.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they do that?
Yeah.
Instead of putting the whole league in a bubble.
Right. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's a really good point because you're talking about a 17-week season, right? As far as regular season.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's doable. But do the players want to do that? Because then they couldn't be with their family. They couldn't.
I know. I mean,
but I get it.
Odell Beckham is saying right now is cancel the season.
Yeah.
He's come out right now. He's saying cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy, Odell's making $20 million a year, and he's made a few, probably made 50 or 60 million so far as it is. The guy that's playing on a minimum.
I was going to say play a minimum or just trying to make the team wants to have a season.
How hard is it going to be to make a team now? You can't get invited to camp.
Yeah.
Those numbers are dramatically reduced. There's no preseason games.
Right.
To show what you can do. Mm-hmm. I mean, your Julian Edelmans of the world made the team based on preseason games.
Yeah.
You're not going to have those.
That's a really good point. It's going to be based off your college record. So.
Yeah. All right. You got a...
I do. Well, before there's two things I wanted to mention. I don't know if you saw this, but the Rocket was back on the mound. Did you see Clemens pitch?
No.
So Clement was some charity thing, and his sons played with him. And it was funny because Clemens is 56 or something like that, 58 maybe.
Still throwing gas?
Well, yeah, it was interesting. He's definitely throwing gas. I would not be able to touch him, but and the ball movement was amazing. But he's still throwing like 85 miles an hour, which is cool. It was good to see. He got lit up a little bit, but to be expected when you're that.
He got lit up.
Yeah, I mean he's playing against some really good players.
Okay.
So I mean it was lit up, and he got touched for 3 runs.
I know that he's been throwing like batting practices and live game sessions too, like when his kids were in college and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know who else was doing that well into his 60s? Nolan Ryan.
Really?
Nolan Ryan was still bringing the ball in close to 90 miles an hour into his 60s.
That's crazy.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So.
But just seeing the movement on Clemens, some of his pitches was just it was sick to see. So I just wanted to bring up the Clemens thing is what I wanted to bring up.
Clemens is going to be in the Hall of Fame?
No, because of the.
He's not going to make it.
No, because of the PEDs.
Okay, you don't think that's going to eventually come to pass?
Not until Pete Rose gets in the Hall of Fame. I don't think so.
All right. You have a UAE update. I
do have a UAE update. So we discussed last week, we talked about camel racing, which is one of the most popular traditional sports. Their most popular sport we also mentioned is soccer. So football, as they call it. Their second most popular sport is the sport of cricket.
Oh,
cricket. So,
okay.
I mean, I think you've seen a little bit of cricket where, they have the wickets and there's 11 players on each side and there's a batter. And throughout the UAE, there are many, many, many cricket stadiums all throughout the country. They actually had a World Cup team that won the national championship in 1996 and 2015. So they're actually quite good.
Have you ever watched cricket?
I have watched cricket, YouTube videos of cricket. Yeah. It's pretty awesome. I like the fact that you can kind of hit the ball in any direction.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
And the pitcher bounces the ball in, right?
Yes, yeah.
And they bounce the ball in.
Yeah, because they're trying to knock down the wickets.
They're not wearing gloves. I don't believe that the players wear gloves.
I think they wear gloves.
They do.
I mean, they don't wear baseball gloves, but I think they have.
Well, it's
yeah. They're not wearing baseball
gloves.
Yeah, that's right.
It's different, and it's very pop. I mean, sometimes ESPN will carry some cricket, and playing at Wembley or wherever, and there's hundreds of thousands of people in the stands. It's crazy.
Very very popular, and a lot of talented
players.
It
sounds like a soccer game too, like a European soccer game where there's that buzz in the crowd, and it's pretty cool.
That is the UAE update for this week. So we did camel racing and cricket, and then I look forward to next week's update.
I'm looking forward to it also.
Good.
We have a game.
All right.
Allie, our producer, she's put together a game last week, this week, and she's got one going for next week too.
Thank you, Allie.
And we have absolutely no idea besides it says guess the player.
Guess the player with Mike and the Hoss.
All right. You won last week. I'm giving you credit for that.
Well,
so
lucky me.
I need to get going.
Come back here.
I'm nervous about this because I have no idea what's coming.
Don't be nervous.
I'll go first. I'm going to say that's Tom Brady.
That's an old jersey of TB12 Tom Brady.
This is you.
Holy chickens. I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes.
Dang. Patrick Mahomes.
You all right? That's you. Boo. Sorry, I'm booing him.
Booing him, so...
I don't know. I'm in your head, really. I don't really know who it is.
I'm going to say Eli Manning.
Eli Manning.
Neymar.
I don't even know who that
He's
is.
a soccer player. All right.
Oh.
All right. She got us
I'm
on
not
that one.
Sorry, I'm not booing Neymar because I don't know who he is.
All right, you're up.
I don't know. I don't know. Mookie Betts.
I'm going to say Jason Varitek.
Oh, pull that out.
Thing's rigged.
Not at all. Is it you or me?
It's me. Dang it. Looks like Angels. Guy looks
You know who this is.
jacked. I'm going to say Mike Trout.
Yeah, Mike Trout. Greatest baseball player to play the game.
You're up.
Oh, I'm up.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Huh. I'm actually struggling with this one. Let's see. Bulls 45. I actually don't know, so I'm going to pass.
All right. I'm going to say Michael Jordan when he came out of retirement.
Good for you. I had 23 stuck in my head.
When he came out of...
Yeah.
That's because I watched The Last Dance.
Yeah, well,
That's the only
I guess
reason
I
I knew
missed that. Your pick on that one.
Oh, boy. Orlando. I'm going to say Shaquille O'Neal.
I'll go with Shaquille O'Neal. Oh, I should have gone with Dwight Howard. Dang it.
You're up.
Manny Ramirez?
I'm going to go with Dwight Evans.
Dwight Evans, yeah. Oh.
I want to say that we got to Google this. I think Dwight Evans was number 24 also.
Wasn't Manny Ramirez?
We'll
Google later. Under protest. This looks like soccer now, because this is you.
Am I up?
Yeah.
But you can't say what I choose because you have no idea.
It's a good point. Yeah, I have.
I'm going to say Ronaldo.
I'm going to say Messi. Good job.
All right. I'm up. No, you're up.
I'm up. I don't know. Yogi Berra.
Babe Ruth.
Nice. You got
Yes,
this one. Mike got
all
the
right.
win. Well done.
Even things up.
Yep.
Nice job, Allie.
Yeah, thanks, Allie. That was a lot of fun.
All right. I guess that's it. Next week we're going to talk about the end of baseball and probably...
Hopefully maybe the start of high school sports, or at least talk about it, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think next week, we're going to be roughly 3 weeks out from school, 4 weeks out from school starting, I guess,
Yeah.
still. And I think the decisions are going to have to be made. NHIA is all in right now. They're definitely all in.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's safe to say that the season will be shortened.
Yeah.
But they're going to try and get something in for the kids.
Yeah, so I hope so. That'll be great.
All right.
Awesome.
Until next week, thank you guys. And thank our sponsors again, Morrissey's Porch and Pub
Skelly's Market.
and Downtown Grill and Cafe. Thank you and go Knights.
Go Knights.